Now you're going to go through your availabilities. This is what we had earlier, but this you can have specific as well. So maybe there is a trip or whatever that you're going on this Monday, and you can say, "Hey, I'm not available," right? So it knows that just the 23rd you're not available, or you could change just the times or whatever. That way you're not having to mess with this like the week before or something. You just set it for the day. You can look busy. So sometimes this is for the sales calls. Maybe you want to look like you have a ton of sales calls, and so even if you have a blank calendar, if you hit look 50% busy, it'll automatically fill in 50% of your calendar, right? For this coaching, uh, and then obviously we don't want date specific for the vast majority of the time. And so what you would do is you would hit recurring meeting, and maybe this is a 1 hour coaching session, and you use this one in your bundles, right? So it's bundled weekly, and it's for 3 months. So it's weekly. So maybe this is like 12 weeks because you just sold a 3 week package. So they come in here, they pick the time and the date that they wanted, and it's that exact same time and date every week for 12 weeks. Um, and this is what's going to get sent out to them and what's going to show up on your calendar. Um, the meeting interval. So this is like the interval is how they can book on your calendar. So this would be like 12, 12:31, 1:32. If you did every 1 hour, then they would only be able to book at 12, 1, 2, 3, and so on. This is the duration. This is the minimum scheduling notice, right? You probably don't want them to book like later that day with you. That'd be too. It's not enough time for you to prepare. So maybe it's 1 day in advance or 2 days in advance, uh, whatever you think. And this date range is how many days into the future they can book for, right? You don't want them to buy something and then not book for a month. So you say, hey, you have to book your first within the first 7 days, within the next 14 days of when you bought. The next one would be maximum bookings per day. So um, maybe between that 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., um, you only like to coach 4 times a day, four sessions each day, or whatever it is, right? So you would put that maximum bookings per slot per user. So you can see this is maximum number of appointments permitted per slot for the user. If the number of appointments exceed for the given slot for the user, then it either switches over to the next user in the round robin queue or marks the slot unavailable for a prospect to book. Uh, Basically, this is like how many people can show up to this appointment, right? So maybe these are groups, and so people can do this once a week at Wednesday at 2 p.m. But you want to be able to sell this to up to 3 individuals who come in as a group, and so you could leave that. You could say, hey, 3 people can be at the same time. I can coach 3 people at one time. Next is the pre-buffer time. So that I need at least 15 minutes between coaching sessions to get set up, so they can't book it like back to back. They couldn't book a 1 to 2 o'clock and then a 2 to 3, right? So if you move this to 30 minutes intervals, then someone could book a 1 to 2, but then they wouldn't be able to book again until 2:30 to 3:30 because of this buffer time, right? You could also do a post buffer, right? So like maybe you don't need anything pre, but you know that like you need to be able to take a breather, get some water, whatever. So you would have 15 minutes post buffer time. Okay, so however you want to set this up, you would hit save.